What up, everybody? Welcome to the week we've all been waiting for. It's we're fucking go time right now. Max and Nick here with you. Welcome to the Average Joe's AJXO podcast. We are in
We are
draft week. Okay,
T
Thursday
minus.
is the NFL draft. It is Saturday today. We're recording a little late because I've been working my fucking ass off. So here we are. Got today off, and
What is it?
we're hopping
T
on the
minus
record now.
5 days. T
Mhm.
minus 5 days, right?
Yeah, man. It's coming quick.
Oh
And,
shit!
it's funny because the draft's kind of like a off-season marker, right? So you wait all this time with no football, and then the draft usually comes. And then from there, I mean, fuck, you're right into it. You got OTAs. And then before you know it, it's late July and fucking you're in camp. And then preseason games are starting out of nowhere. And then it's the best year or best time of the year with NFL, college, all football just starting up. So we're getting there. I'd say the off season's about halfway over now. Getting there. April, May, June. I mean, we're
Yeah,
getting there. We're getting there. I
we're
wouldn't say
getting there.
halfway over, but yeah, man, it's pumped. Today we're gonna talk about a couple things and then probably dive into our last little mock draft like we did last time, alternating, and it's because some things have changed, and we'll get into the trade of Ravens with Kansas City here in a minute. First, we're gonna talk about a couple other news related things. First, I'm going to mention this because as Nick and I have played the game, we were a generation that I'd say it was my junior year, sophomore year, I think, junior year, maybe it was junior year. That was like the first year. So I would have been 2004, 2004 when, we transitioned from the old school helmets. I don't even know what the fucking brand was, Hunt or something. I don't know.
We had
Like the old school ones. Were they Rydell? I don't know, but
I used to have Rydell helmets. I think it was like the
yeah,
old school
I forget what I
air
don't think ours were
bladder
Rydell.
with like
Air.
like,
It would say air on it.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
and they had like ours had the blue air bladders in the tops of them with like the really thick foam, and you had to get like, you're popping in tiny little ear pads. Like the shit was like not very
They're
advanced. You know what I
fucking
mean? Like
heavy
it
as
was
shit,
right,
heavy
right.
plastic. But yeah, dude, that was the first. So 2004, 2003, 2004. Schutt had come out with these new helmets. The plastic had designs in them like you see today, and that was like seeing something crazy. Like we never saw no shit like that. And then Rydell dropped their helmets at the same time. We got the Schutt versions in, and they were cool because they were super light. And then they were like, oh, well, these helmets have the padding inside that they put on Navy SEALs boats. You can't get concussions with these. Fast forward that football year, we had like the most concussions we ever had, and I don't think the marketing there held up to its standard or what their claims anyway. So, obviously concussions have been a thing for many years now that the NFL has kind of tried to deal with, just in football in general. As athletes become bigger, faster, stronger, can't really fucking work out your brain in that way. So I wanted to bring this up because I found out about this company probably a year or two ago, and I just thought it was fascinating. And like, what fascinates me is not only like just the technology that's going into stuff like this nowadays, but like, like an engineer or a scientist, like this is what they do. It's just kind of funny that like somebody out there has been like, we're going to try and do what we can to at least minimize the risks, playing football. Cause let's be honest, dude, like as much as we all love the game, we know it's not the safest, we know like butting heads full speed into each other is probably not the most healthiest, especially if you go on to play big time college football or make it to the NFL. But have you ever heard of Visus?
I have, yes.
Yeah, and what I thought was interesting about this company is like everybody that's tried to make their own version of a helmet and make it safe has still kind of used the staple of the helmets we're so used to in terms of hard plastic on the outside. But Visus have went a whole different direction and made I mean, I don't know if it's still plastic or not, but like made a material that gives and kind of absorbs the impact, and then the padding on the inside absorbs that as well. And I just thought like the tech in it is very, very interesting. And I saw within the last couple of days that Vices came out with the helmet strictly position based for linemen, and the contact they got to deal with. So apparently on the inside, it's just got different areas of padding to accommodate the impact that linemen take on a given play in a game or in practice. And I just thought it was really cool. So I wanted to bring it up and kind of talk about it a little bit, because just to see like where we're at with the helmet stuff like that, and minimizing concussions, and like where we're going to be, say 10 years from now, like, cause who knows, dude, like maybe they do figure out, hey, like we can create the helmet that really minimizes the concussions and makes it more safe than you can possibly imagine, like what are we going to get to, I don't know.
Well, it's interesting to think about, but as new things are developed, new materials are developed, research is done. I think a part of where this is going is, sports science in general has come a long way, even in the last decade. You're talking about GPS units and on players during practice. You're talking about, recovery.
Like cameras and
right.
in like
right.
the helmet.
Exactly. There's things that they're doing in the sports science realm where, you're tracking player movements, you're tracking recovery times, you're doing all this stuff. I mean, obviously, as an athlete in a contact sport like football, the more in tune with your body and the more science-based or analytical approach you can take for recovery and maximizing performance when you can, all that data is leading to developments like we're talking about with helmets too. You can analyze, impact zones in different positions. You're talking about position-based helmet, design and engineering a helmet that's going to protect. Hey, if you wear this one for offensive linemen based on impact zones that we've analyzed over the course of time, you're going to see less of an impact, and a reduction in side effects to concussive, concussive behaviors, I guess. Like, you're going to see that reduction, and it's a pretty cool thing. Like, I think, honestly, obviously you're not going to eliminate everything. You're talking about the most physical sport in the world. You know what I mean? Like, as far as you just being a contact sport with some of the best athletes you can find, you're not going to eliminate all injuries, but this science does help prevent it. And honestly, it makes the game better because you're not losing players to an injury that could have otherwise been prevented with something like this, So I think this only benefits the game going forward. And, again, it's just a testament to the amount of time and resources people are putting into sports science with, like I said, you got all that stuff that they're tracking. So just makes for a better product, really, at the end of the day. Wish we had something like this, dude. Like,
right.
I don't know how many fucking concussions I have. Like, when I'm sitting there and I find myself drooling all over myself, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm 32. I'm not 80. You know what I mean? Like, I should not be doing this, but, no, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad, but, it's just crazy, man. Like, but I'm glad the game has come, or that stuff has come where, as far as it has, because it's going to only benefit things.
Yeah. And speaking of sports science, I mean, that's not even including the fucking microchips that, the players going to get injected into them. Who knows what that's going to fucking do, more data. I mean.
Oh, right. I mean, but in all seriousness, like with the GPS and the chips and the vests that the vests that they wear and things like that, like, it's not only is it a benefit to the athletes and their performance and teams kind of tracking that and recovery times and things, but it's like you can utilize that data even in a scouting realm. And I think a lot of times, we're talking about, we're going to be doing draft stuff later in this show, but you're talking about, all right, hey, this guy reached X miles per hour, or, he can run a 40 and run splits, but you can also track his data on a GPS side and be like, game speed with this information. Like, we know what his splits are. We know what his game speed looks like. So, it's going to help in the scouting realm too, to kind of, put together reports and hopefully hit on players more frequently. So that's a good thing too.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where that goes from here. It's going to be pretty fucking wild, dude. Kind of to go along with that, another change that we saw your boy Tom Brady bitch about is which I read up on it. I was kind of like confused by the critique on this, but supposedly the jersey numbers are now the NFL changed the numbers that players can wear, and Tom Brady was kind of. He was pretty vocal about it, but he claims that it's going to be hard for blocking schemes and to see for linemen and stuff, and just to be able to block players. And it just, I don't know. Like, you study some film, you know what numbers are what. Like, why does it really matter? I don't really get it, but I'm sure you got something to say about it. Seems how Tom Brady's your favorite.
I mean, I totally understand where he's coming from, because the game of college football is just so difficult to watch, because the game and the product itself is so terrible. When you got linemen wearing single digit numbers, you got linebackers wearing single digit numbers. Nobody knows who's who. Like, the game of college football is suffering because of this. It's so terrible, man. And how are professional athletes going to have to be held accountable for this when college athletes, are out there doing this and dealing with it? Dude, it's not that big of a deal. Come on. I don't get it, bro. Like, I understand, like, it is a significant change, and let's put it in perspective. The only way that this is going to happen is if athletes currently in the NFL buy out their merchandise for their current number. So if they're going to switch jersey numbers, they've got to buy out all the old merchandise for their old number before they switch.
Gotcha.
Dalvin Cook, for example, prime example. It was going to cost him like $3 million or something like that to buy out all the old merchandise of the number 33. So way he could switch to the number 4 or whatever it was that he wanted to switch to. Said, nah, player, I'm good. 33 looks good on me. And he stayed put. So, like, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, because they do have to purchase out the products and things like that. But at the same time,
the next 10 years or 5 years, it'll shift as people retire. And
big deal. You get a number, if you're locked into that number, I think the reason they're doing that is so that way players just aren't willy-nilly switching numbers yearly. Like, you're going to pay off your product and be, you have to buy it out just to switch your number. So, unless you get traded to a team, that number's not available, that's a different story. But, like, oh, this year I want to be number 4, next year I want to be number 7, and the year after that I want to be number 22. Like, I think that's why they do it. But it's not going to be that big of a deal. I think he's overblowing it, and I think it would make sense to me that he's throwing a fit, because, like, all of a sudden quarterback numbers are opened up. Like, his marketing, his brand, his TB12. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, that's like a thing. So he might be upset that his branding for his specific thing, like, oh, it's the quarterback. It's the way of the quarterback 12. Now you could have a fucking defensive lineman be number 12. And Aaron Donald be like AD 12, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah, it could be a number of things. I don't think it's that big a deal.
I think he'll get over it. Nothing a little makeout session with his kids won't do. But
bro, he's gonna be right. He's gonna be retired in 2 years anyway. Who gives a fuck? Let the NFL do what they were gonna do. Like,
right.
Like you geriatric asshole. Like, I'm just kidding. Like, I mean, I get it. I can understand why he would think that, but I think with a little bit of film study, it's just going to be an extra thing to prep for. And I don't think it's going to ruin the game of football because somebody decided to wear the number 3 instead of the number 23. Like, I just don't think that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was kind of silly, but
but hey, it's always fun to watch him just fucking cry about shit. It doesn't happen too often, but, like, it's just funny to me to watch him cry about shit. Like, it just cracks me up. But
yeah, and plus, these guys come from. I think also part of the reason why they probably did it is because, some of these guys come out of college, like the linebacker from Notre Dame is number 9, right? Could potentially keep that number as a linebacker, right? I think I got to look at the numbers. I can't remember what the scope is.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I think that is a possibility,
like that,
honestly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big deal.
So yeah, whatever.
Big deal.
Let's see here. Before we get into the trade talk, one more thing let's cover. I didn't dive into details. I don't know if you did or not either, but it seems like the Browns are going ahead and giving Baker his 5th-year option.
Yep.
I didn't see any numbers or anything, so I don't know if that was put out there, if that was discussed.
I think it's like I don't know what number one pick is. I know, put it in perspective, like Josh Allen would probably be in like the 17 to 18 range on a third or on a fifth year option. So I'm guessing it's probably in that vicinity for
Mm.
Baker, like 18-ish mil, probably 18 or 19, be my guess.
And you said that the
But
Bills are waiting, right, until after the draft?
yeah, so there's a couple teams that are doing that. I mean, if you're looking at, it almost seems like the Ravens are in the same boat with Lamar for the fifth year. The Panthers, because now they have Darnold and they can still exercise the fifth year option on him. They're waiting on that till after the draft, and the Bills are doing the same thing. I think a lot of these teams with the cap situation, with what's going on, with the lower cap amount, they're waiting to the draft, seeing what they get in the draft, making sure those picks are signed, making sure they can address any other needs in free agency with some of the vets that are out there. And then once they have a full scope of here's what our cap situation looks like, here's what we got going on, then they can feel more comfortable exercising that option. Because now they have a better idea of what their cap situation is. So, it's not to say that they don't have an idea of what that's going to be, but once you go through the draft and you finalize your roster, like you're going to have a concrete understanding of where you're at, and then you can exercise that option accordingly. So, that's kind of where those teams are at the current moment. But the Browns had the flexibility to do that. Like they could exercise that option. I think teams, if you're planning on keeping a quarterback, like there's two different philosophies, right? Exercise a fifth year option, have the player play under that contract, and then you work out an extension after the fact, or try to work out a contract extension before the fifth year option that includes that fifth year option money. So it's like, hey, your fifth year option would be this, and then we have a contract that goes beyond that.
Yeah.
I think that's very similar to what Mahomes did with his contract this previous year when he signed. So I think teams, there's kind of a different philosophy there, but and they locked down Ward too, right? Denzel Ward got his fifth year option exercise, so that's awesome.
Yeah, and like I'm sure, like in the nitty details there, that like just because of the COVID year and stuff, like you said, it's probably a little different than other years. I don't know, maybe incentives, stuff like that, but I know just the cap situation is pretty fucked for most teams.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know. They got it done. I don't know anything
That's
about
awesome,
like
bro.
the money side of things, but it's good, man. They're in a good spot. So
well, they obviously did it, and they know they had the cap situation and the structure in place right now to be able to do it. So it's solid.
Yeah, but in the AFC, it's still especially now, it's still kind of belongs to the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like they're the team that kind of dethrone
Always.
there.
Correct.
And especially now, and we're going to get into this, the other day, was that yesterday or the day before? Ravens decided they were going to trade their really good offensive tackle to Kansas City for Kansas City's first round pick. And I think it was 2 or 3 picks over the course of the next 2 years in later rounds. So I can't remember if I saw some Ravens fans on Twitter what they were thinking about it, but it blows my mind. So it's like, okay, Ravens, like you gave up a tackle where you're picking at. All the good left tackles are probably going to be gone by then. We'll see on Thursday, but they're deep. Those 2 picks are deep in the end of the draft, and there's a couple really good offensive tackles that are going to be gone. I don't think they're going to last that long because they're hard to find. You get rid of him. You send him to a team that's in the same division, a team who you've struggled to. Well, Lamar anyway. Lamar struggles to play against Kansas City. It seems like they just cannot get over that hump and beat them, and they're going to have to if they want to go to the Super Bowl. So, to me, this trade was very interesting. I didn't know what to really think of it at first, or what their mindset was over that. And in Kansas City, the beginning of the offseason, it looked like they didn't sign. They lost 2 really good offensive linemen, which was making me think, oh shit, they're still talented, but without with the depleting offensive line like that, we've talked about it on the show many times. That offensive line that's the one thing. Even though the game's changed at the collegiate and NFL level, one thing that hasn't changed that's always kind of be the case for any team is the hogs, man, up front. It's where it begins, right? So, but the Kansas City was able to sign 2 linemen, and then they get this trade and get their tackle. So, what they lost, they got back. So Kansas City to me is still the team to beat in the AFC, and the Ravens just helped them out. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So I thought, it was a good return for Baltimore because Orlando Brown, the tackle that was traded, I believe was a 3rd round draft pick for them. So, to net a first round pick, for pretty much turning that asset into a first round pick.
I guess that's
not
good.
bad.
Yeah,
but
that's not bad.
I have the details on the trade. So the Ravens acquire three picks. They get a first rounder, which is number 31 overall, a 3rd rounder, which is number 94, and a 4th rounder at 136. So, and then the Chiefs get Brown, and then the Chiefs will also get the 2nd round pick in 2021, which is number 58, and a 6th rounder in 2022. So, some pick swaps there.
What's crazy about Kansas City though is like it seemed, dude, they took a couple offensive linemen that had because what was the fucking dude that played for the Browns? I can't even remember his name now because he was so bad with the Browns that the Browns drafted him. Goes to Kansas City, becomes a starter, and the team just is becomes a new dynasty right now. And I don't know if you want to call them dynasty. They're going to be good for a long time, but. So it seems Kansas City, whatever they're doing in that system, they can take some guys and make them, decent players.
I think this trade worked out pretty well for both sides, honestly. So Baltimore has a starting left tackle in Ronnie Stanley. Like, he is their starting left tackle. And if Orlando Brown's going to refuse to play on the right side, well, you better get something out of him. And like I said, you're turning a 3rd round pick.
Right? They moved him originally. Like, he was he
was the right tackle. And then because Stanley got hurt, he had to play left tackle.
Oh, that's right.
So because of that, and he played very well at the left tackle spot. So if he refused to go back to right tackle, and play right tackle for the Ravens, like at that point, you're going to have to get something out of him. You know what I mean? Like, that's trade him, because if he's just going to sit out, what's the point? It's like, all right, so you were able to turn that into a 1st round pick. Awesome. For the Chiefs, it's a win because now they get a starting left tackle after, both Schwartz and why am I drawing a blank on their other tackle that they got rid of this offseason? I can't remember who it was, but their other tackle, left. So now you got a starting caliber left tackle as a replacement that you might not have gotten at the 31st pick in this draft. You know what I mean? So it was a really good play by the Chiefs. I think the Ravens now, with 2 picks at the back half of the draft, this draft, I think you can get a starting caliber right tackle late 1st round if you wanted to. It's a pretty deep tackle
that makes
class.
sense. So that makes a little more sense because I forgot that Orlando was the one. Well, I knew he was the one and a lot of people don't. That probably just casual fan don't understand. Like for a tackle to switch sides, it's actually a pretty big deal. Especially, you've been doing one thing to the one side for so long, and then all of a sudden, at the highest level you possibly can, you're asked to play the opposite position. It's a really hard transition. So the fact that he did well and he is capable of playing multiple positions on either side makes him pretty valuable, especially being a 3rd round pick. I forgot
it's like
that guy.
It's like asking a person. Yeah, it's like asking a right-handed person who writes right-handed to all of a sudden start writing left-handed. Like, yeah, you could end up doing it with repetition and over time.
Yeah.
But like, it's the natural feel of, okay, I can do this. Like, you being right-handed is just natural to me because I've done it my whole life. Right now, I got to go left-handed. Like, you could transition into it, but it's a very difficult. There's growing pains, and when you're at the highest level, like, there's no room for growing pains. You know what I mean? Like, it's win now. It's everything needs to happen right away. So yeah. Yeah.
So now I see it your way a little bit now. Because the Ravens need a right tackle, and they have the left tackle to protect Lamar Jackson, blindside. So that would be a little bit easier position to fill. So I can kind of see that now, I guess.
Like, I understand why the trade happened, right? Like, you can see the benefits, but man, that the rich get richer, and the Chiefs just they got a dynamite player, and at that point, like, really that's what they needed to focus on was rebuilding the offensive line. Like everything else on their team has been pretty solid. You know, they could probably target defense a little bit later because some of the defensive players in this draft, you know, secondary players and things. It's a decently deep draft there.
Yeah.
So
There's some
you know,
deep.
you
There's some.
could.
I don't know if you looked at it. There's actually some defensive guys, linebackers in that second round that could potentially be legit guys.
Well, guess what? They got 2 second-round picks now that they could package and move up if they needed to. You know what I mean? So that's also something to look at. Like Kansas City has 2 late second-round picks that they could package with something else to move up if they really covet a guy in the first, 10 picks of the second round. So,
I mean, it's well, speaking of the draft, I mean, I guess we can get into this now. Nick's not going to be able to hear this, but might as well. We're going to do another little mock draft because we're going to see how this little trade towards the end of the first round changes things a little bit, and there might be, see if we changed our mind here. Well, we're gonna do it a little different. Last time Nick started first, I'm going to start second, or no, I'm starting first this time. Nick's going second.
yes,
and we're going to pick for. He's going to pick for the Browns. I'm going to pick for the Bills, and this is the final countdown, baby. Yeah. I wish you could hear this. Yeah.
I'm just gonna air guitar over here. Don't worry about it.
We good. I'll bring up this mock draft machine that we used last time. You got yours up?
Yep. I have to do it on my phone, so like I completely forgot my computer. So bear with me.
All right. So yeah, let's see how this one turns out. You took a screenshot of the last one we did, right? I thought you did.
I haven't saved. Hold on. Yeah, let me do so. Yeah. So.
And we'll save both of these and see.
Let me do this. Let me see if I can log in, and then we can compare. We could post our comparison, or I can post the comparison of the two.
Oh, you actually made it an account? What do you mean?
Yeah, I have an account. I have an account with them. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's easy because you could just save your stuff.
Well, the first pick's a no fucking brainer, so you already know.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be.
I mean, most people can agree. Maybe the draft starts at pick 3.
Yeah. I mean,
the way things are going,
you would think, right? Let me make sure I actually saved the last one. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, because I don't think I screenshotted it or anything.
I do.
You did?
I've got it. So I just wanted to make sure. This would be so much more easy on my freaking computer, but here we are.
Yeah.
But all right, brother. Well,
going Trevor Lawrence number 1 because obviously we know that's a lock.
Yeah, pretty much a lock.
Unless Urban Meyer randomly just shocked the world and said it taking the Ohio State guy, but I doubt it.
That would be hilarious.
It would be pretty hilarious.
Speaking of pretty funny, this is the spot here at the number 2 pick that, like, seriously, it could change the outcome of the whole draft. Yeah. Because while we're sitting here thinking Zach Wilson is going to be the pick,
yeah,
we don't really fucking know, man. Like, it could be any one of the other 3 quarterbacks or other, you know what I mean? It could be him, Fields, or Trey Lance. Like, but I have a fairly strong conviction that it is going to be Wilson due to the fact that they had such a big contingency of people at his pro days and things.
Yeah.
So I went with Zach Wilson at the number 2 spot.
And the fact that there's really no reason for them to try and be sneaky and, like, you know what I mean? Like, they get their guy, they get whoever the fuck they want besides Trevor Lawrence. So, like, there's no reason to not sugarcoat or hide anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why, but so with pick number 3, we've been talking about this for a while. I think this one's going to stay the same. I mean, I've already been very vocal about how this whole debate between not only Zach Wilson being a guy to go over Justin Fields, but also Mac Jones. I just think I just don't understand like where this knock on Fields comes from. So again, San Francisco 49ers with that system with Shanahan, Justin Fields, I think fits perfectly. I just don't think you pass him up, dude. I say they draft Justin Fields and they're going to fucking ball out. I don't know when he's going to get on the field. Probably this year because Garoppolo's got fucking, I don't know what it is, man. Maybe he's just too focused on banging porn stars, but the dude always gets injured. I don't know like what his deal is, but he can't stay on the field. So we'll probably see Fields this year.
Yeah, I mean, I can absolutely see any one of those guys. You know, they had a pretty strong contingency at Trey Lance's pro day as well. So, I mean, it could be Lance or Fields here at that spot. Could be Mac Jones. I don't know. I mean, this is really, you know, that's going to be another one where, all right, this could shape the whole draft going forward, you know, because once you make this pick, if it is Mac Jones, I think teams like Denver, like the Patriots, you know, they're going to come calling because they're going to want one of either Fields or Lance.
That's
so,
true.
you know, this is where that third pick can really determine what kind of trades happen, who's trying to, you know, leapfrog who to get into the top 10 to get another one of these guys. So, you know, this is really, it's an important pick for just the overall structure of the draft this year.
Yeah.
But, and then you got Atlanta here. This is going to be another interesting side of it. Do they take, you know, Matt Ryan's replacement? Do they add to their offense? Do they add to their defense? What are they going to do? And I am going to say that they say, fuck the haters. We're taking Kyle Pitts because he's a dynamic playmaker and he's a guy that can really bolster this offense, especially now that Julio Jones is getting a bit on the older side and has dealt with some injuries and things. I think Kyle Pitts fits well, and they can target maybe another wide receiver later in the draft. So I'm going to take Kyle Pitts at the 4 spot for Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, that's been something that's been debated here lately. I've been seeing around. It's weird because like I said, dude, like you know my frustrations with the national sports media. So I honestly have been kind of, God, I haven't really been watching anybody really. Except Emmanuel AJXO, is that how you pronounce his name? I really like him. I like his perspectives on a lot of things when it comes to national sports media, and he's fucking killing it right now. And his suit game's fucking strong, dude. I don't know where he gets his suits from, but I fucking dig it. But yeah, everybody that I've seen articles, whatever, Kyle Pitts is supposedly the best thing to come out of the draft at the receiver position, even though he's a tight end in a long time. Supposedly I can't pass up type of guy. You know, this pick right here, I think is going to be interesting because I think it's potential for a team to trade out, you know, try and trade up for it, you know, maybe get a quarterback, whatever, or maybe they want Pitts. I don't know. The thing is with the Falcons is like their offense, they got talent on the offense. They could score points last year. Their defense was really fucking shitty. You know, I don't know how long Julio Jones has been in the league now. Do you, off the top of your head, can you think? Yeah, I guess he is getting a lot older.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I still think Matt Ryan has some gas in the tank still. Definitely going to have to address the quarterback position at some point here soon to be ready to move on. But yeah, man, I mean, if we're talking like if this kid Kyle Pitts is like that legit as a tight end, I mean, he looks like a receiver. Then I guess it'd be really hard to pass him up. But this is the spot, and that's the only reason I'm going on this whole fucking rant right now because I just, you know, I feel like the first 3 are pretty much a lock. This one I'm circling because if there's a trade that happens in this draft, it wouldn't be surprised me if that's the spot that gets that trade.
4, 5, 6, I think are sweet spots for trades. If you're looking at teams that are drafting behind that need quarterbacks, pick 4, 5, 6 is really where I think you're going to see that.
Yeah.
You know, that happen. So
yeah. Well, you know, here the Bengals have a couple options here. They could get a beast receiver to give Burrow that talent, more talent on that offense. However, here, you know, I talked about it today. Again, to reiterate, we talked about it numerous times, and you saw what happened to Burrow last year. He with that knee injury. I think, to build around a young quarterback, you got to get this offensive line built. So I'm going the big guy out of Oregon. Penny. I love you, Penny. Yeah, going with Penny. Sewell. Is that how you say his name? Sewell.
Soul.
Penny Soul. Azul. Yeah, I think getting him on the tackle will help. Besides, we don't know how Burrow's going to be. So year 2, a lot of quarterbacks take a dip in year 2. He was doing well his rookie season. I think this is maybe going to give him a lot more comfort behind center, knowing he's got a guy that can protect him, and then him coming back from injury. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see Chase or him going there. I think it would be.
That was my toss up. Like, I feel like if they're going to take a receiver, they're going to go with a big guy. This
Chase. Is also why I could see them trading back. Because like at pick 5, like you could if Detroit wants a quarterback, if Denver wants a quarterback, like they could absolutely get up to that position, because you're thinking about who behind me is in quarterback purgatory, and like the Patriots at 15, is going to be one that there's a team like Denver who only has to move up 4 spots to secure the guy they want.
Mm-hmm.
They could do that. You know what I mean? So, but with the 6th pick here, again, if Cincinnati decides, you know what, we're going to take Penny Sewell or we're going to take Jamar Chase, I think Miami takes whoever they don't take. Mm-hmm. So between those 2 guys, and in this case, I think they go Jamar Chase. They do need some wide receiver help. Anything on offense to assist with Tua. They could also use some offensive line help. That's why I think if Sewell's there, that's where they go. But in this mock, he's not. So I'm going to take Jamar Chase.
Gotcha. I dig it. That gives that offense a big time receiver to, help Tua improve and get better this year, as their defense is what basically won them games last year. So
yep.
I can see that. Let's see. We got the Vikings up next.
Lions.
You're good. Yeah. So, they get Jared Goff in a trade. The Lions are so interesting, dude. Like, all those years they had Megatron and didn't really give Stafford much on the offensive side of the ball. So, at some point they're going to have to fucking add some skill here, I think. So they definitely think they're going to take a receiver. Now, I think it's a toss-up between Waddle or Devonta Smith. But I think they're going to lean towards Waddle here, number 7. If they had to decide. I honestly think Devonta Smith, even though he's a Heisman, he's a monster, I have a feeling he's going to drop because of his size. And I know he's a speedster, and, I don't know what you think on this. I just, obviously nobody in college could deal with him. He was faster than everybody. Obviously we all know how the NFL is. I think he could have some success for sure. But everybody in the NFL is fast as fuck, dude. So I think his size might make teams worry a little bit. I don't know. Do you think that?
I can see that being a concern. There have been small guys that have played and succeeded in the NFL, though. So, it's going to be one of those things that, can we put 10 pounds on him? And if we do put 10 pounds or 15 pounds on him, is he still dynamic of a playmaker? I don't see that production dropping, or that dynamic nature dropping if he does add a little bit of weight in the NFL.
I think scheme plays a role too.
Yeah. However, I still think Waddle, if Waddle was healthy last year, Waddle would have been the Heisman.
He was on pace to fucking.
The guy is a freak. And yeah. I was a big, like last year with all the wide receivers that came out, I'm like, dude, Jalen Waddle this year is going to be the number 1. I thought he would be the number 1 wide receiver taken, and then he got hurt.
Now I got to look it up, because, dude, before he got hurt, he was on pace. Let me see. Jalen Waddle.
He was nasty, dude. And he's fast. He's a little thicker. He's got, a little size. He's the definition of dynamic.
He's shorter than I thought he was. I thought he was taller than that. He says he's only 5'10", 182, but he looks fucking pretty good.
Yeah.
So he played 6 games before his injury. He had 28 receptions, 591 yards. He averaged 21.1 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns. Was that plays? No, I don't know what that is. Scrimmage yards, 6. I mean, dude, like
He did everything.
I thought they were a little higher than that, but yeah, I mean, dude, he was at 591 yards in 6 games, dude. He would have easily had well over 1,000 yards fucking receiving.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I honestly think that he pushes for the Heisman instead of Devonta Smith.
Because he played 13 games. Just to give you an idea, he played 13 games in 2019, had 560 yards. So he had beat that in 6 games in a year, before his injury. And I had only had 6 touchdowns in 2019. So like he was gonna
competing with Henry Ruggs, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, there were guys there were guys there, and but I'm surprised he didn't get more looks, honestly, when he was there, with Ruggs, even with Ruggs being there. He's a freak. I really like Jalen Waddle for sure. So and then, you got the Panthers that are slotting in at the 8 spot. And I think they're probably looking at this player being available. I can't, unless some unforeseen circumstance happens where it pushes another guy down the board. But I think Rashawn Slater is going to be the pick there for the Panthers, offensive tackle,
big boy
just to kind of short that line, give Darnold a little bit of help. Like you made an investment to get Darnold over to your team to start. Give him a little help. You still got some skilled position guys that are, in Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore that are going to be, and Robbie Anderson, who he's got some familiarity with. So I think from the skill position standpoint, they're okay there. Get them some offensive line help, and that's where
we're going to find out if Darnold can still make it. He goes to the Panthers. He's got who'd they get? They have offensively. I mean, they're already better than the Jets. Why am I drawing a blank? Running back. Why can't I? Patrick McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
Christian.
Yep. Hopefully, got him coming back healthy. They picked up receiver, I believe. I think that's a good move for them to get some protection up front for sure. Okay, Broncos, interesting. God, I can't even tell you. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're locked into lock, right? You see what I did there?
Right.
They're not locked in. You feel me? So it's saying team needs is linebacker, cornerback, and then quarterback. This very interesting. I don't know. So I don't think they're going to take a linebacker. They could take Micah Parsons there. I don't know. This is tough for me, honestly, because here's the thing. I think it's, if you're going by need, all right, if you're the GM of the Broncos, okay, you're looking at this board and you're like, all right, well, you got Caleb Farley at Virginia Tech, great player. However, I think he might drop a little bit too, man. I didn't realize. I was reading it up on it the other day. He's had some pretty intense back surgeries.
Yes.
It's definitely something you got to question. If he can physically be able to come play at the next level with those injuries. It sounded like a pretty big deal. Is linebacker? I feel like linebacker's never been an issue for the Broncos. It's always been quarterback. So I feel like at number 9 here, the Broncos might take their guy, right? And we might get a little crazy with this pick right now. I know it's going to be different than the last draft because I'm going off the wall. I'm going to go Trey Lance to the Broncos.
Okay. That's what I would have done.
Oh yeah?
They wanted to bring competition in for Drew Lock.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to bring in competition for Drew Lock is to say, well, we just drafted a motherfucker 9 overall, and he's going to be pushing your ass because you're a second-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And may the best man win. Trey Lance is one of those guys that is going to need a little bit of development time. So while Locke might win the starting job this year, Trey Lance is nipping right at his heels.
Well,
and you got to pick your option with him.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Trey Lance too, like North Dakota State. I don't know if they play in the dome or not, but I felt like big guy can play in the cold. I know we put a lot of stock into that kind of stuff. I mean, look at Rodgers was a California kid and went to Green Bay, and it obviously doesn't affect him, but you're going to have to play in some cold weather games out there in that Denver stadium. So I think that play, I think it plays a little bit of a.
Well, you're looking at that, but you're also just looking at who Trey Lance is as a prospect. I mean, he's a guy that he's got all the traits you need. He's a big arm, great athlete, athletic quarterback. He's impressed in interviews and on the board when you're talking about things that you're wanting to see out of your quarterback from a mental standpoint and a processing standpoint. So, and the production was there, even though the competition level wasn't necessarily what you would, see out of a Power 5 school or anything, but you're still looking at a guy that just in the one game that he played this last season, it was the first interception he's thrown in his career.
Oh, wow.
For college. So as far as a college football player. Yep. So he's had one college interception in his entire career. It's a guy that's been productive. So I think he could, if you're looking at, if there is a quarterback that could potentially be a Josh Allen type quarterback, as far as just like what you saw with him, small school, has all the tools, blah, blah, blah. Trey Lance is probably as close to that guy as you're going to see. So, it's a very interesting pick. And I think that Denver, that's what they're really looking for as an answer there. Their defense was solid last year. Offensively, they've got playmakers. I think that's the piece that they're missing.
I mean, linebacker wise, they still have Chubb, and then did they re-sign? What's going on with Von Miller? Did we know?
Yeah, I think he is back. He's back with them. So, yep.
Okay. So yeah, I think they can get a linebacker day 2 and pick their guy. So I'm sticking with that.
Right. Yeah,
I have a feeling I could predict your next pick, but I want to see who you take.
I'm gonna go Mac Jones for the Cowboys because Dak's a bust. I'm just kidding. It's gonna be Patrick Surtain. I think they need some corner help and defensive help. If you look offensively, they were statistically, one of the top offenses before Dak got hurt last year. Their offense is set. I could absolutely see them maybe reinvesting in the offensive line at some point in this draft too. But I think top tier blue chip talent. You're going to take a guy like Patrick Surtain, insert him in the starting defensive lineup, bolster that defense a little bit, and kind of put your focus there, at least initially. And then, you have some options open up to you as the course of the draft unfolds. So,
yeah. If the Cowboys get Surtain there at the number 10, that's a good pickup for them. They definitely need that defense to improve so they can flip it around next year. And because, I was thinking about this the other day, dude, like getting Dak back, hopefully, psychologically he's good to where hopefully he comes back as the same player. But I mean, dude, that receiving core is just fucking stupid.
Their top 3 are nasty.
Right? Oh, dude, it's unbelievable. That defense just gets a little bit better. Even not even just 25% better. I mean, their defense was pretty shitty last year. They're gonna be able to compete in that division.
Well, they lost Aldon Smith. They lost some pieces there too. So
that dude coordinator's out. So they got a new D coordinator that's going to be able to. I just think players were playing out of position versus what they had there. The year before.
They need to retool it a little bit, and I think this is a good step to retooling it. But you should have seen your face when I said I was taking Mac Jones. You fucking.
I was like, no, he's not. You
did. You know that gif. I forget who it is.
Well, you know what? You know why? Is because people really think people really shit on Dak to the point where they don't. Some people.
I don't think Dak's the problem with that team. I don't think
me neither. Me neither. I just think it's crazy. I almost thought that you were one of those people. I was like, oh shit, is he really not a fan of Dak?
No, dude. I was playing. I've had him in fantasy football a few years, and he's helped me out before he got hurt. So we're good there. But
New York. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I think New York should do, and then I'm going to pick opposite of what I think they should do because this is what I think they're going to do. Daniel Jones is, we're going to find out this year. He might not even be on the team next year. You know what I mean? So, as you call him, Danny Loans, because he loans the ball to the other team. But I think he needs protection. I would go with the best offensive tackle available here. So that would be Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. But I think they're going to add more talent on offense and go Devonta Smith, receiver.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like I
So that's
said,
you're riding with Devonta Smith here.
that's what I think they're going to do.
Okay.
I'm taking Devonta Smith. But personally, I think again, dude. I mean, me and you were kind of the same. We love. I know taking offensive lineman ain't sexy, especially in the first round. But you got Saquon Barkley coming back, so some protection up front for Danny Dimes. I don't know why I call him Danny Dimes. It's just in my head.
Danny Loans, baby.
Danny Loans.
Giving that football away.
But yeah, I would go fucking best tackle available. But I just think the organization and that GM that everybody hates. I think he's going to go with Smith.
I could see it, and at this point,
because it would be what? Well, they did get Galloway, right?
Got Galladay,
Galladay.
John Ross went there.
Sterling Shepard.
They still have Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton. So that would definitely bolster it.
Yeah.
That would definitely bolster it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Well, because John Ross hasn't proven anything really as an NFL player so far in his career. So like Devonta Smith could come in and be, take his spot, and he could end up being a top 3 receiver or being in the top 3 rotation for New York. Yeah. So
Galladay, I mean, he's coming off injury, but he's a big guy. I think he's a bigger receiver, but I don't know. We'll see. I think I see him doing that.
Well, in that case, Philadelphia is pissed because they were like, we were taking Devonta before he got here, but at the 12th spot, if the board's shaking out the way it's shaking out for them, they might trade back, but we can't do that in this mock. So Philadelphia is going to say, YOLO, J.C. Horn, corner, and I think
you really love J.C. Horn, don't you?
He's one of those guys. Honestly, he's probably my third behind Farley and Surtain, but Farley scares me with the medicals, and I think
it's a pretty serious injury he's had.
Yeah. And he opted out last year because of some of these injuries and things. Like it's, it does concern me. And with a year where the medicals haven't been thoroughly vetted for players because of COVID, like it's one of those things that you could see him fall down the draft board. And, I don't know that he gets much beyond. I think he'll go in the late 18, 19 range into the 20 range. But, I think teams are going to be concerned. He should go much higher. He honestly could have, if he stayed healthy, he could have been the number 1 corner off the board in this draft. So.
Oh yeah. Chargers. This is fucking easy. Well, since, I went with Smith he would have been gone anyway. But I didn't go with Darrisaw, for New York. In this scenario, I think, the Chargers get some protection for what's his net?
Justin Herbert.
Herbie
Hancock.
Hancock. Yeah.
There you go.
I say we get some protection for him. So easy pick there.
Yeah, I think I like that pick for them, and just bolsters their team right away. And it's just
the Chargers are my pick. That's my pick for, how every year there's like a team that reaches the playoffs or is just like way better than the year before. The Chargers are the team.
They were that close last year.
Yeah.
They were that close last year.
Well, there's a lot of games they lost by 1 possession games. So like I just think that they're gonna like flip that switch next year. I think they're gonna go to the playoffs. At least the wild card.
I can see it. And it makes sense to me. And I think Justin Herbert's going to end up being a stud. So
I think so too.
Get him some protection. He's got skill position players around him, so get him some protection there. Their defense is solid, but Minnesota is on the clock. This is a unique draft board to me because they can use a lot of different players. What I'm going to do though is I firmly think it could fall between. It's going to fall between 1 of 3 positions. And looking at what I'm looking at right now, I like Tevin Jenkins here, tackle. Out of I believe he is Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State.
Why am I not seeing him on here? Is he down a little bit? Let's see.
He might be. I did predictive board. It switched on me, so that's my fault. But I'm gonna do Tevin Jenkins here. I think he's a guy that could step in and start for them right away at the right tackle position. Um, I could absolutely see corner though here, and there were a couple guys I consider, but and there's another guy down there that I would consider as well in this position, in Elijah Vera Tucker. So,
That's who I was eyeballing.
but yeah, but I'm gonna take a tackle here, and I'm gonna take Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. But Vera Tucker would be a really close second to me in this position.
Going okay. Your second favorite team, the New England Patriots here. I can't even say that without laughing because I know it just makes your fucking skin crawl.
Hopefully they take a kicker or something, because
so I think the Patriots are interesting. Like we saw them spend all this money in free agency, which is not them typically, and we see Mac Jones sitting there. But here's the thing. Belichick is a defensive guy, right? They got Cam Newton for one more year minimum. And it makes me wonder if, will they take a quarterback that high? You know what I mean? Even despite needing a quarterback. I mean, fuck. Everybody knows the story of Brady being in the 6th round. Like, what if one of these later guys, like the dude, like I said his name last week, the dude from Texas A&M, or like, there's a couple like quarterbacks that are going to be, maybe day 2 guys who, are going to sit the bench and, potentially, maybe they like a guy like that, So, logically, maybe people in this position right now would say Mac Jones to the Patriots, but like, I'm not sold on Mac Jones, even though he did have a great season. I think being a defensive coach, I kind of think that I think Micah Parsons is gonna be drafted here. So I think Mac Jones drops. Dude, like I said, this mock draft for me, we're trying to I'm trying to switch it up, different scenarios, and yeah. So I'm saying Patriots say fuck the QB. Let's build this defense like we're usually known for, and let's go Micah Parsons, linebacker.
I just look at all the connections that between Alabama with Nick Saban and Bill Belichick.
That's true.
So like to me, it makes sense if they did go Mac Jones there. And if you're going to draft a guy that's going to be as close to what Josh McDaniels utilizes out of his system, like Mac Jones is that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So like I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, but if you go Micah Parsons in that spot, like I could also see that too. Maybe they're not sold on Mac Jones, and we do see a little bit of a slide here. But yeah, that definitely shakes things up. My draft board's a little
fucked.
Little fucked right now. I mean, I wouldn't say fucked, but it's definitely different. This is where in this spot with Arizona drafting, I could
definitely need a
quarterback.
They definitely need one of those.
Yeah, so like this is kind of like where, to me, we might see a Caleb Farley come off the board, depending on what people feel like medical wise. And honestly, I'm kind of torn between a couple guys here, but I will go.
You still on predictive board? You can change it right at the top.
So I am going to go Caleb Farley here at 16.
Okay.
Again, I don't know what teams are thinking from a medical standpoint, but if he is healthy, he could absolutely be the best corner in this draft. So I'm just going to bank on it.
Yeah.
Saying he's going to be healthy, and that's what we're going to be looking at. But this is kind of where the spot, like I said, anywhere between here and like 16 to 20, I think he could potentially go. And I don't think he slips much further than that. But
the Cardinals took Watt, and Watt's been banged up. So, I don't think it's anything that they're scared of. The Raiders, as we know, definitely fucked up and got rid of a really good lineman. I don't know if they sign anymore. But saying here, interior D lineman or an offensive tackle. We're starting to get a little thin at the tackle position. We got some interior offensive linemen. I think if I'm going to go next best available, and I think the Raiders will get Christian Barmore from Bama, big D lineman. I know you watched
I
some
like
tape
that.
on him, and you kind of like some of the stuff he brings to the table, and he kind of has that
Yeah.
Raider mentality, I'd say.
It took him a little bit this season to kind of start putting some stuff together, as far as like consistent film. But I did like what he brought to the table. Comes with a pretty good interior pass rush plan. He's pretty solid against the run. I could absolutely see him developing into a consistent contributor on a defense, and that's where Oakland, or Vegas, I should say, where Vegas is kind of lacking, especially with some of the guys that they just got rid of, with Arden Key and a couple other investments they had. So I do like that pick there, and I think he could step up and kind of bolster that defense for John Gruden. Knock on wood if you're with me, you know what I mean? Like, let's go. So I do like that pick for them. And now we got Miami coming up here, and I think Miami.
I have someone in
There's a couple
mind.
guys.
I want to see where you go with this.
I'm looking at this board, and I'm looking at the rankings that we have in place. This is really tough for me because there's two guys back to back here.
Yep.
Three guys back to back that could absolutely be an option for them. Kwity Paye could absolutely be an option here as an edge rusher, an edge player.
Which I know as a Bills fan,
think
that like in this position, like Miami's in a really good position. I know it sucks as a Bills fan, but they can do some shit here.
Another edge guy that I could absolutely see going here is Jalen Phillips. I also think it would be criminal to not consider taking an offensive lineman, considering how, granted, I don't put a ton of stock into grades, but if you look at PFF grades for Miami's offensive line last year, it was not good. And you're doing a disservice to Tua if you're not investing, just like we talked about with other guys.
Yep.
It just kind of depends on, do you value a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker as a prospect, as a better prospect than what you're going to get out of Kwity Paye and Jalen Phillips? At this point, with kind of where I'm thinking, I'm going to go Elijah Vera Tucker here for Miami.
No, I actually get I know that makes sense. Especially when you look at it like, we it's been pretty well known if you watched Miami play it all last year, and like since Tua had been in, I mean even before that, like Fitzmagic was killing it. There was really no reason to sit him. He's benched awkwardly. But a lot of those games were won by that defense. The defense is already pretty good. So what was the problem? It was Tua in his rookie season playing pretty mediocre. And again, man, the offensive line is super important. Yes, it's hard to find crazy edge rushers. We got some good edge rushers here towards the end of the draft, but elite edge rushers are really hard to find. So are these three dudes going to be, like top notch, edge rushers like a Myles Garrett? And probably not, because usually those guys go in the first 10 picks, right? So no, I agree with that pick there. Again,
it's tough, man, because
not sexy, probably not something the fans want. But hey, man, shit's a need.
Well, and it's not necessarily like a super big need, but if you have a guy that you have, hey, he was up here, he should have gone 5 picks before us, so we've got question marks defensive, on the defensive line as far as how we value these guys. Like, go with the guy that you think is going to be the best contributor. And like I said, man, Tua's, if you're Miami and you fully believe in Tua, that is what you're investing in. You need to give him all the assets available. And if you go offensive here, because that's where you struggled last year. Offensively is where you struggled last year. You need to give Tua as much help as possible. That was my rationale there.
Yeah.
Washington's got some options here, bro.
Dude, it's interesting. I'm looking at Washington, right? Because it's saying linebacker, safety. I say offensive lineman is definitely top priority. That defense
I
is already fucking stacked.
consider this. Ryan Fitzpatrick is currently their starting quarterback.
Oh,
Who else do they have besides Ryan Fitzpatrick right now?
fucking
I'm not
nobody.
telling you what to pick, but
I know exactly I feel like
you know what I'm saying? Like it's something to consider, at least in this
it
spot.
is something to consider with our scenario we got going on here. That's for sure. I didn't even think about that until I'm looking at it.
Because I'm telling you right now, if Mac Jones gets to me for Chicago, like that's what I'm taking. So if you don't take him here, that's gonna be my next pick.
No,
But
that's
go ahead
true.
and do your thing. Do your thing.
Yeah, and I think because
Honestly,
there, I don't. Yeah,
that Miami pick, I could see if Mac Jones slips like this, I could absolutely see in Chicago trying to leapfrog Washington to
yeah,
make sure that they do secure a quarterback and flop those picks. I mean, that's an
I can see
absolute
that too. I can
consideration
see
there
that.
too. So
Yeah, no, dude, that's a yeah because like as far as offensive linemen go, I mean, you're kind of getting down there now. I don't know. In this scenario, I say we should say fuck it and do it, but no, I do. We'll do Mac Jones.
who? Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
So you're taking him for Washington?
Yeah.
And that's where Chicago goes. Damn it, we should have made a trade.
Yep.
But that I could see that. If this falls the way it does, like that Miami pick could easily be somebody trades there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I can see that.
and specifically Chicago. Especially if he starts slipping like that, like Chicago would want to move up. I mean, they about freaking sold the farm for Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? So it
They
makes sense to me
and
there. But
they a lot of people shit on Dalton. Dalton can win them games, I think, better than fucking Trubisky, and everything. So I mean,
oh,
they
you
just
mean future Super Bowl winning quarterback Mitchell Trubisky
yeah.
when the Bills win it this year?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, future Super Bowl champion Mitchell Trubisky. No, speaking of future Super Bowl champions here, I'm just kidding. We got Chicago on the board here. So let's see.
I kind of know where
Needs
I know.
quarterback, tackle, wide out.
I think I know where I'll see what you pick. I know what I would take here.
Well, I really don't like what's available for Chicago, honestly. Um, I mean, there's two guys I'm considering right now. I am considering, well, three, I should say. I'm considering Rashad Bateman, Terrence Marshall, and then outside of that, man, I mean, I might even look
Because
corner and
the
consider
only
Greg
yeah
Newsome,
yeah because
but
the only tackle that's the next highest ranking tackle is what from Bama.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
right?
Well, you have a couple different ones there. Oh God, if Chicago falls into this, I would trade back, honestly. But uh,
I think you're right though. I think they're going to be a team that tries heavily to move up in the draft to get a
if
quarterback.
if Mac Jones falls, like I could see that. You know what I mean? But this is tough, bro, because I don't like any of the options that are there.
I was going to go
I'm
like
gonna go. I'm gonna go Rashad Bateman. I think
that's who I was thinking because the dude's
with
a really
with
good
Allen
route runner.
With Allen Robinson being on a 1 year deal, they can afford to lose him next year. If Rashad Bateman steps up and as a guy, I don't think they got what they wanted to get out of Anthony Miller. Darnell Mooney has been a pretty solid player for him, so I could absolutely see that. I mean, that makes sense to me. So yeah, we'll go Rashad Bateman here.
The Colts, man, Colts. I feel like the Colts could be a team that could trade out of this position, but their defense is already pretty fucking beefed up. Offensive tackle they could use, receiver, cornerback. see what
They did
cornerbacks.
just lose. They did just lose Anthony Walker, right?
They did. That's true.
I could see
The Browns got
any
him.
one of. Yeah, I could see anyone. Yeah, the Browns signed him, so like I could see a linebacker even in this spot.
Yeah,
for them if they liked a guy.
especially
Awusa Koromara, or however
I
the hell you
know.
say his name for Notre Dame. That's a consideration for me here.
I
If I'm the Colts
secretly kind of want that guy, and I know dropping to 26 is probably not going to happen. So I think we might just crush my dreams right now and draft him here. Actually,
you think so?
yeah.
I'm looking at it too from a standpoint of like, I mean, you got Darius Leonard in the middle, and you did just lose Anthony Walker, who contributed heavily for that team. Like, I think you could get Owusu
Karamara, like he can do so many different things though. That's what's crazy. Like
that, right.
You
And
know,
I think he adds an element to that defense that they could absolutely use. So
yeah, and it's crazy because like the dude's only like 6'1", so like for linebackers, he's kind of a quote unquote smaller guy. But dude, if you watch his fucking highlights, not only can he, cover, but the dude lays the wood, dude. Like he's a fucking monster.
yeah, oh yeah.
So Tennessee Titans.
Got Tennessee at 22, bro, and I am going to.
I'm really surprised that edge rusher isn't higher on their needs. Right?
Well, they got
because they thought Clowney was going to be that guy last year. They didn't have. I don't know what they're. I mean, I could look it up.
Well, they signed Dupree, right?
Oh, they did. But let me see something here.
They signed somebody.
I think they had the worst. I want to see this because I'm almost positive the sacks they had was the least in the NFL last year.
Probably that makes sense to me because they didn't get production out of any of their guys.
They had 19 sacks, which is, I mean, Myles Garrett had was like 5 shy of that. You know what I mean? So as a whole team combined, 19 is pretty shitty. I feel like
I could absolutely see them getting an edge rusher here. This is an interesting like. If the board lays the way it lays, like you're going to see a ton of trades, and it's because people are going to move up. People are going to move up for like guys like Jalen Phillips. That's going to be stuff that happens.
And
but
let's be real, our board is probably not going to be exactly how it lays.
Oh no, dude, this is an exercise here just to see, But going purely on need at pick 22, I'm going to go Greg Newsome for them. Get some defensive back help.
Yeah, corners are always hard to find as well.
And then
I don't know what I mean. Besides cornerback has to be the hardest position on defense to play, dude. It's so hard to play defense as it is nowadays. And like to be able to cover these big receivers who are fast as fuck, and not be able to really put hands on them and like being able to change directions. I mean, playing cornerback is a tough gig.
Yes, it is.
The Jets. All right. So this should be easy. They get the quarterback, and the next thing they need to add as they rebuild, even though they've been rebuilding for fucking ever, is an edge rusher. So Jalen Phillips, I think, is the guy to beef up that defense. So let's go.
I can see that.
Jalen Phillips.
I can see that for sure.
Fucking Steelers, dude. Make them fucking draft the fucking punter.
3 things that I'm considering here, and I think a guy that would fit in pretty well with them. I'm going to go Kwity Paye here for them. After losing an edge rusher here, I think they're going to bolster the defense. There was a couple other options I considered here, but I think Kwity Paye makes a lot of sense and fits in for Pittsburgh. Consider running back.
Their offensive line sucks right now.
Yeah, and I don't like the prospects that are out there. This is one of those things that I think, again, you could have a trade out of this spot, a move back. But I went edge rusher. I went Kwity Paye.
Looking at the Jags here. So hang on. They got DJ Shark. Who else they got at receiver? They got Shark. I don't even know who the running back is.
Oh my God. No, they got Dede Westbrook is still there, I believe.
Oh, they got Dede. So they got Dede, they got Shark, they got. Didn't they? I thought they picked somebody up too. Or maybe they let somebody go. I thought they picked up another guy. I could be wrong,
Crap,
but
I'm drawing a blank.
who's their
I'm
running
drawing a
back?
blank. James Robinson,
Okay.
rookie of the year last year, running back.
Oh,
He was a
really?
baller.
I don't know why I'm not remembering.
He was a fantasy stud last year. He was like the number 4 running back in fantasy
So they
football.
got some
So
fucking talent out there. I think you need to. Okay, this pick, I'm gonna go. 'Cause I was thinking about maybe Elijah Moore out of a receiver out of Ole Miss, but I think you go and you get some protection for your rookie quarterback, and we'll take Alabama's offensive tackle, Alex Leatherwood.
bring in the Leatherwood. I like it. I
Yeah,
like it.
dog. Oh shit! Here you go. Who you like for the brownies, dog?
I'll tell you, there's 2 guys I'm eyeing up,
What's that?
and I
Oh,
think
TP
Browns fans might not necessarily
like this.
agree with me. Um,
Najee Harris, just run the ball every play. Don't even fucking pass the ball.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I think they're going to trade this and 14 future draft picks to Washington for Mac Jones because they don't have no. I'm going to go edge rusher, bro.
Okay.
Jadeveon Clowney does not inspire a lot of confidence in me as far as future goes. Plus, he's not a pure edge, and I think he's a guy that can move around a lot. So I'm going to go Azeez Ojulari, edge rusher out of Georgia.
I've actually
For the
seen that.
Browns.
I've seen that in a lot of mock drafts, actually.
And
I didn't know. I
just
don't know much about the guy. Like I was looking him up, and surprisingly, he's kind of a undersized D. I think he's only like 6'2", right? He's like a smaller defensive end.
kind of like a hybrid guy, but I
Yeah,
think if you guys are going to be playing some dime packages, and some things like I think
they're gonna
he
be
could.
doing a lot with the secondary. Apparently, Joe Woods couldn't do last year. I heard like one of the safeties they play in the box a lot, stuff like that.
Yep.
Um,
So I could absolutely see that kind of being the trend, and I think he could be
yeah.
a pretty dynamic pass rusher off the
And
edge for you guys.
what's crazy too, like about that pick, and like, yeah. So statistically, because a lot of people look at Clowney as a pass rusher, right? But really, a lot of his statistics that are really good come from the run game. So what I think they might do with Clowney actually is move him inside. Like, so there might be times where him and Garrett are on the same side, except Clowney's playing inside, right? Good luck, fucking pick your poison there, right? And then I always bring up the point. So you got Gary, you got Clowney, you have Curtis Weaver coming back from injury. Everybody forgets about this guy because he was injured last year. And then you got Tack. Don't know what's going to happen with him. Can he get back to the level that he was expected to play coming out of college? And then now so that's 5 defensive ends, right? 1, 2, yeah. That you have in rotation there. So like, not only now would that make you deep at defensive end, I mean, who knows, dude? Maybe between Weaver and Tack, like one of these guys might rise up and be just a stud. Like we don't know, but a lot of upside there, and and it's great because those all 4 of those dudes playing next to Miles. Miles is the one that's expected to be the sack guy, right? So, whenever Miles ain't going to be getting triple teamed and double teamed as much anymore, right? So it makes it better for Miles, and then maybe some other guys get to step up and make some plays too. So,
Right.
but I can see it.
It's tough, man. Like I said, Clowney. I'm just looking at the future. Like, okay, you got Tack, you're going to need probably next year. You're probably going to need an edge rusher, and I think by getting a guy like this, you can groom him a year, and now you have somebody that could potentially play next year. On the edge position, opposite of Clowney. So I still think it's a need for you guys, despite some of the offseason moves you made.
Yeah, but I do think, yeah, man, they could even trade out. Like we don't even know.
Yeah, with the way the board fell, like that to me, okay, I don't think. I think it's more of a need than people realize for the Browns with how they want to utilize Clowney and with him being on a 1-year deal and just kind of the perfect storm of, okay, hey, we got to kind of prep for the future too.
Right.
So with the way the board fell, it just made sense to me. But Ravens got a couple here coming
Yeah.
pretty quick. Quick turnaround here.
Yeah, I'm kind of debating here. I'm not sure because they got, or who'd they lose? They lost. Who went to the Patriots? Because they lost somebody. They lost a good player. They lost.
That wasn't Dupree, was it? No, he was
No,
Steelers.
no.
Oh shit, who was it?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Crap.
Oh my god,
Wow. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this, bro.
I'm drawing a blank too.
But they did sign the guy from the Ravens. I just can't remember who the hell it was. It'll come to me. But
Yeah. So
is that what you're considering in this position? Was the edge rusher?
yeah, I don't know much about this Joe Tryon guy from Washington. Pretty big kid, 6'4", 251. The claims he can play pretty much anywhere, or in any scheme anyway. His ideal role is outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense. So it's either him, offensive tackle. Again, we're kind of getting low on tackles here. Don't really see anybody there. They can use a safety as well. And I think I'm going to go with safety. I'm going to go Trayvon. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Moring.
Morig.
Yeah. I say we go safety.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna go back to back here, so you can pick for the Bills.
Okay.
On this one, with the Saints and Green Bay, kind of like what we did last time.
Okay.
This is just how it worked out. But yeah, no, I mean, I could see that. I could have seen Jason Owe or Rousseau going there as well for Baltimore, but they do have a couple picks here, so who knows? I'm gonna do the Saints here, and they are kind of in a similar boat. There's a couple of really intriguing edge rushers here. Honestly, I think I'm torn. I mean, I could see them going wide out to combine with
Michael Thomas.
But I think, especially with some of the stuff that's going on with Marshawn Lattimore, and they haven't really gotten a lot of production outside of oh crap. It was the guy from Ohio State that plays for him defensive end. Why am all of a sudden I'm just drawing blanks on really awesome players' names. But yeah, I could absolutely see somebody, and I'm gonna go Jason Owe here.
It's honestly probably because it's fucking Ohio State of the South, because the Saints have so many Ohio State players. It's hard to freaking
Oh my god, I almost
who'd you take?
Jason Owe.
That freaking nature.
Yeah, out of Penn State as an edge rusher for them. With how our board's falling, I do like an edge rusher there. If a corner had fallen to that spot, I probably would have considered a corner there. I definitely consider a wide receiver there. I think the Saints could.
I thought there was some more corners than there actually are in this first round. There's not a lot projected. I thought there were a few, so that's interesting.
Oh yeah, is it no shit? I can't remember the guy's name. I apologize. That I should.
No, dude, I'm drawing a blank too. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm fucking.
Yep. Is it Cam Jordan? No,
that's one of them.
I can't remember. God damn it! But yeah, I think.
Why is Hayward Bay?
He's a wideout. He was a wideout.
Oh,
Cam
yeah.
Hayward plays for.
No, why am I?
He plays for the Steelers.
That's right, dude. This is bugging the shit out of me.
You know what's really fucked up is that I can picture what he looks like. But I can't fucking think of his name, and it's upsetting me. But yeah, I think edge rusher there, and then I'm gonna go Green Bay. They also could use some assistance here. Honestly, I'm a little torn.
It is Cameron Jordan. There's Marcus Davenport, and there's Cameron Jordan.
Cam Jordan was the guy that I was thinking of then.
Gotcha.
I am going to go cornerback
for Green Bay.
And I'm going to go Eric Stokes, corner.
All right then. All right, we got your fucking Bills up here, dog. Oh man. This is tough.
This is
Because even before this Bills pick, in my head I was like, dude, I already think I'm going to do something that is not going to be popular by Bills fans probably, or breaks the rule that we both kind of agree on.
You're taking Etienne, aren't you, or Najee? Oh, you know.
Listen, I mean, Bills defense has always been fucking solid, right? I don't see. I feel like as far as the edge that they claim, the edge guy that's needed. I mean, I feel like at this point in the draft, you can maybe find some of those guys later on that, again, we're not dealing with super elite edge rushers at this point, right? Now, I think I've always thought the Bills need they've gotten two running backs, right, over the last couple of years, right? Pretty solid running backs, right? But like that one running back that could do fucking everything, I think is the one thing that's missing from the Bills, dude. I think you mix in that, a running game, just a little bit, just a little smidge, dude. I think they're gonna be fucking hard to beat, man. Offensively, I think they're already gonna score their points. Diggs is gonna get his. For me, I'm gonna take a running back, but it's a toss up between Najee Harris and how do you pronounce his name? Travis Etienne?
Etienne. Yeah. Etienne. Yeah.
It can't be fucking simple. But just based on
simple.
just based on Bama and what they've been producing with running backs and how they've been in the NFL minus Trent Richardson, I think I'm going to take Najee Harris. I know it breaks our roll, dude. It breaks our roll, but
if I looking at what the board is right now, there was like three guys I would have considered here. I would have considered a wideout, honestly, to prep for the future. I would have considered Tyron out of Washington, or Tryon out of Washington. I would have even considered, honestly, those are probably the guys that I would have been looking at: Elijah Moore, Najee Harris, or Tryon there. So
I was thinking Elijah Moore too, as well. But I mean, dude, think about this, right? Obviously, this is pick number 30. I can't remember what it was, like top of the second round when the Browns landed fucking Nick Chubb, and look how great that's worked out for the Browns. All I'm saying is, yeah, it's a risk, and it's kind of a weird pick for the Bills. But I mean, dude, even if Najee Harris came in there and got you 60% of what Nick Chubb has done for the Browns, that's a fucking win in my book. Which I think he would do more than that. But no, I mean, it's just a tough spot, I feel like.
Yeah, I get it. You know what's not a tough spot for me here with the Ravens?
What's that?
I think they go wide out, and I think they go Terrence Marshall out of LSU.
Yeah.
Get a little bit bigger speed guy, a guy that's been productive in the SEC, more of an outside guy to combine with Hollywood Brown. And I think you try to add to that passing game, because that's really what has held them back at that point last year. So I think you give Lamar another weapon, you make that offense pretty explosive, and you go from there. Because I don't like the options at tackle really, or some of the linemen that are there. And I think they could, they have some veteran options they could even look at, in free agency to solidify that tackle spot. So I think they get a weapon for Lamar and go Terrence Marshall.
Tampa's interesting. did they sign? They pretty much signed back everybody, right? They got Fournette back, right?
Yep. I think they're returning literally everybody except for
Who else
one guy,
besides Fournette did they have that was carrying the load most of the time before
Ronald Jones.
Yeah, I can't remember how well he did. All I'm saying, I think Etne's at play here.
Well, they did just draft Keyshawn Vaughn too last year.
Oh, did they? Well, all right.
Yeah, so they got three guys. I don't know that. I mean, you could pick them, but I don't know that running backs honestly in play for them this year.
I mean, I was just thinking about it because I know he's get out of the backfield and can kind of do everything. It'd be another weapon, but I think this is if Elijah Moore's still on the board, I think we go receiver and take Elijah Moore here.
I like that because you don't know the status of Antonio Brown.
Yeah, right. He's got a fucking trial going on or some shit. He's probably gonna be locked up. We don't know. But yeah, that's the end of the first round here, and you gonna save that one?
Shit balls, that's saved. I will post our mock 1 and mock 2 here once we're a little bit later this evening.
Hells yeah!
Post it with the once the link goes up.
I'll get that edited and posted actually right away. I don't know how long. I bet you these drafts take a long time, man. Especially if we're deep diving into it.
Well, we did, man. We deep dived. We talked a little shop here. Just kind of getting through some stuff. We got a lot to cover here before draft.
No, man. It's like the only thing we really talk about right now.
We'll have the first round of breakdown here in a week.
Yeah, man. I'll have to figure out what day. I mean, because I'm working Thursday, so we'll have to see what day I can film next week. So maybe maybe next Saturday early.
Why not? We'll cover the first 2 rounds at that point.
Yeah. So maybe we could have that on as we're recording. That'd be kind of cool. So maybe I could do that before I probably have to edit work. So that'll be dope.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I'm just fucking surprised I got this Saturday off. I don't know what you got going on, but the reason why I requested this off is because this is a big UFC fight on the night, and obviously I watch it. I know you don't really watch too often, but yeah, man, big fights tonight. Got Usman versus Masvidal too. Last time they fought about a year ago during lockdown. Masvidal took that fight on 6 days' notice, tried to drop 20 pounds in 6 days, essentially. Looked good in the beginning, but then kind of fatigued because he didn't have the training camp and the cardio to fight a monster like Usman for all 5 rounds. So he's a big underdog. I don't know, man. I don't bet on fights, but I'm probably going to start betting on fights because I don't know if you know this, but so the one thing I miss about Ohio is the fact that before when we lived together, I was able to do DraftKings and FanDuel, and those things have been illegal here in Arizona. Any kind of sports betting, right? But they just passed something to where, hopefully by this coming football season, it'll be in play where we'll be able to do those things, which is great because I'm going to be fucking doing. Do you still do that? Do you still do FanDuel and all that stuff?
I do. See it, yeah. I'll throw them in. I don't really do anything outside of football typically, but I'll throw some hockey ones in on the occasion and things like that.
But yeah, dude, I just miss doing that shit because it's so fun. But get to do that this year, and then I'll probably do some MMA stuff, even though I don't get too crazy. MMA is so hard to bet on, throwing fucking money out there. But if you were a betting man, I would say, I forget what the odds are. I was looking at them earlier, but Usman's a massive favorite. So if you wanted to potentially win some money, I think the upset's always there. So you could bet on Masvidal. But there's 2 other championship fights on there, chick fights, but the elite chicks. These girls. You got Weili Zhang, who is from China. She's a monster, but she's fighting Thug Rose. You probably don't know anybody I'm saying right now. Thug Rose is also a beast. I think that's going to be one of the best fights probably on the card. And then you got Shevchenko, who is this other fucking monster of a Muay Thai chick who just beats the shit out of everybody. It's not even close. It's always insane. Only girl to take Amanda Nunes the distance twice. And she's fighting up a weight class at that point in time because she was always smaller than everybody. They didn't have a weight class for her. Now they do. And she's a champ, wrecking it. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Going to be buying that. And having some other people tune in, if you catch my drift, but because I'm tech savvy like that. Little gray area I discovered, but anywho, nobody's listening. But yeah, that's why I got the day off, and then in the meantime, edit this together. Have you watched the new Mortal Kombat? I kind of want to watch the new Mortal Kombat. I've heard
I've not seen it.
I've kind of heard some
mixed reviews.
Yeah, I've heard the storyline's not the greatest, and I don't know, because I was going to go see it in the theater. I still might. I don't know, because I haven't been to a theater in over a year and a half, and that's like one of my favorite things to do, especially the theater that I go to. It's fucking dope. Serve you at the seat. You get this big ass fucking seat. A lot of times during the day, dude, you're a craft beer guy. Like for like $3, dude. It's like half off. You'll get craft beer for like $3. Like crazy shit.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a pretty dope movie theater. It's called Roadhouse Cinemas, but we'll see if I make it out there or not. I don't know. But because I'd have to go like pretty soon because the fight starts at like 7, I think. But yeah, what you got going on?
Not much, man. I'm gonna be just kind of doing some chores around the house here, chilling. Probably tune into some. Might tune in the fight. Just kind of depends.
You let me know. I got you.
Might go out. Peruse the scenery this evening. Could be a number of things. Could end up staying in and just fucking.
Is everything pretty much open up or what?
Yeah, for the most part. At least bars and stuff, you can go to 2 a.m. and as long as you stay in your little bubble or whatever. So
I hear it's a fucking ghost town in the valley these days.
Yeah, it was. The last time I went, which was a while ago, it was pretty dead. So
yeah. Well, Johnny J's isn't Johnny J's anymore. It's like the basement now.
It's the basement. Yep.
Yep. Interesting. So fascinating.
Been there.
How things change. Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Also to keep a lookout for as we wrap up here. I say it every. I'm gonna, as soon as we get off here and I edit this together, I'm gonna be posting some TikToks regarding the draft. So stitch these TikToks, and we want your opinion. So we'll do some for the Bills, we'll do one for the Browns, and I'm gonna throw the Cardinals, maybe some other teams in there, to where you guys listening can tune in and give us your who you want your team to pick, essentially. So I'm going to get some of that stuff.
Need your opinions.
Yeah. Going to get some of that stuff created. And, maybe I'll share them on the Twitter as well. For both of those, our handle is at AJXO pod. My personal and Twitter is Justin_Maxim.
You guys can hit me at BillsFan53, and it's B1LLSFan53 on Twitter.
So we got that coming at you, and it's here, guys. The draft is on its way. Can't wait. Let's welcome in the new year with this draft. And in the meantime, we'll see you guys next week. Y'all be sweet.